Hi Stampers, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to create this card using the shaving cream technique. This is quite an old technique, but gives you a wow effect, and I just thought I'd show it to you again since some of you may be new at stamping. So let's get started with our list of supplies we're going to need today. For cardstock, we're going to use pink pirouette, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 and folded. Bermuda Bay, 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. A smaller piece of pink pirouette measuring 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And I'm using the Bohemian designer paper today, 1 1/8 inches by 5 inches. And Whisper White, 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And you can actually have a couple measuring this size, and I'll show you why when we get started. And you'll also need a scrap piece of Whisper White to do your stamping on. For Stamping Up supplies, we're going to be using re-inkers today, pink pirouette, perfect plum, and Bermuda Bay. And you're also going to need the stamp pads, Bermuda Bay and pink pirouette. The Crazy About You stamp set, and we're going to be using the flower image and the leaf image. The Hello Life stamp set, and for this one we're going to be using the little thing sentiment and the little swirly heart border here, which is really cute. White perfect accents, which come in a cello paper, and those come in 3 sizes. You get the small, medium, and large. And what I've done is I've made myself a clear case to store mine in. The 1 3/4 inch scallop circle punch and stamping dimensionals. And the odd things we're going to be using today, we're going to need a paper plate or something flat that you can use for your shaving cream. And once we get all of this onto our card, we're going to need a box of tissues handy nearby. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is fill the plate, the bottom of the plate up with the shaving cream. That should be enough. And now I'm going to use my bone folder just to smooth it out a little bit. Fill in the air pockets. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my re-inkers, and I'm going to just add drops of liquid. So I'm using the Bermuda Bay first. And then I'm going to add the pink pirouette. And this is a good technique to use for a class if any of you guys do classes. And finally, we're going to add the perfect plum. And I'm using 3 colors today, but you don't need to use 3 colors. You can use just 1 or 2 or even more if you want. And now I'm going to take my bone folder and just swirl it through. And try not to mix it too much, but try to create some swirls. Okay, and that should be enough. I'm going to wipe off my bone folder. And now here comes the fun. You're going to take your piece of Whisper White cardstock and push it into the shaving cream. Make sure it's all covered. Then you're going to pull it out. And the reason I said you could use more than 1 Whisper White layer is because you can actually, let me put a tissue down here, you can actually take a second one and press this one into it. So now you have 2 of them. And you can still actually use what's in the plate and keep dipping inside, and you can create quite a few cards with this. So let me move this aside and show you the next step. Now, because we only need 1 of these for the card, I'm going to remove one and set it aside. And you're going to bring in another tissue, And you're going to start removing the ink. And all you need to do is wipe it off. Make sure you have a trash can handy by. And try to do it in one motion, because as you can see right here, I did smear some of it. So try not to press down. Press down as little as you can. Okay, I think I've got it all. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go use my heat tool to speed up the process so I can finish my card for you, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm all done with letting this dry, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's got a nice marbling effect. I did go ahead and finish up the one that we pressed against each other, and you can see how differently they come out even by doing that. We're going to use this one to finish our card. So now I'm going to bring in the pink pirouette and use my bone folder. And we're going to glue down the Bermuda Bay layer. And our shaving cream layer, which now becomes designer paper or background layer. And you can choose which way you want facing up. The next step is to bring in the designer paper. We're going to glue that at the very bottom. And now we're going to bring in our little tiny pink pirouette strip and do our stamping. And I'm going to do the heart image first, which is the border image. And I'm going to bring it so it's further down so I can squeeze the sentiment in there. So there's that part. And the little sentiment reads the little things. That's going to go right here. And now we can glue that to the card front. And I'm just going to overlap that just a little bit on the designer paper. Okay, now all we've got left to do is our stamping, and I've already done the leaves because I had to hand cut those and I didn't want you to sit there and watch me hand cut leaves. So I did do 2 of those, and then we're going to do 2 of the scalloped flower using the pink pirouette. And for those of you that are new to the photopolymer stamps, if your image doesn't come out as bright as you'd like it to, or as bold as you'd like it to, bring in your Stampin' Pierce mat. It adds a little bit of give, and your images come out much clearer when you do this. So there's my 2 flowers, and if you'll notice on my card, I layered them. And I did forget to mention that we needed 2 scallop punches, not just 1. The other size that you're going to need is the 1 1/4 inch. And even though the flower is larger than the punch, the petals will still line up perfectly if you center this, as you can see, because of course it decreases as it goes towards the center. So that makes a nice little cute little flower. And now we'll bring in the larger scallop circle punch to punch this one out. So there's your 2 flowers. And I did put stamping dimensionals to layer them. And I am lining up the lines so that they follow suit. And now we're going to bring in the white accents and put one in the center. And I'm using the medium-sized one. And look how cute those are. You will see in a video that I'm going to post after this one that I did color these with permanent markers, and it does work. It does add color to your white accent. So that's another use you have for them. Okay, now let's finish up by gluing the flower in place. And I am using stamping dimensionals for the flower also. So we're going to put that right here. And then we're going to glue our leaves in place, and I'm going to use the liquid glue for that. Just add a little bit to the stem. And all I'm going to do is tuck those in. And I think I will trim some of this a little bit so it tucks in a little bit deeper. Just press those in place, and that completes our card for today. Like I said, this is a good technique to show to a class. You could actually keep using the plate of shaving cream over and over because there is quite a bit of color in there once you get swirling. If you have any questions, give me a holler, send me an email, or leave a comment on my YouTube video. Supplies will be listed at the end, and a link to my online store. Thanks so much for stopping by.